Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we are going to discuss who will lead the world after this pandemic. But before we get started, please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any update. There is a question for you people who are watching the video in the comment section. Please give your feedback replying to that comment. Is pandemic leading to bi-multipolarity? It will be up to Washington and Beijing to fix a broken world order, but neither will dominate. Change is the only constant in the world. Believing that the US will remain a global leader for all time contradicts this universal truth. With the pandemic, the future of world order came to light once again. Its cause is Beijing's efficiency in curbing the contagion and Washington's incompetence to deal with it. There are probabilities that are making the rounds. The US will falter as a global leader and China will lead. There is a middle path also. The one where neither Washington nor Beijing is the prominent global leader and the international system operates as what we may term bi-multipolar. Global order has been in transition. The debate over US decline gained traction in the post-Cold War era when Washington was in the ecstasy of its unipolar moment. In the late 1990s, Samuel Huntington contested the very notion of America's unipolarity, when the US actually became the sole superpower after the collapse of the Soviet Union. The international system was not unipolar, but rather, as Huntington put forward, it was uni-multipolar, where America was a dominant player working in a cluster of other major powers. He predicted that with the turn of a new century, the world would become increasingly multipolar. In the pre-pandemic times, the West was said to be on the verge of either a great crisis or fundamental transformation. The US architected liberal order was going through a transition. According to some, an unexpected clash between US and Europe was imminent. Within a few years of his presidency, Donald Trump undid America's decade-old partnerships, declaring the North Atlantic Treaty Organization obsolete, withdrawing US support from UNESCO, and pulling out of the Paris Climate Treaty. Abandoning America's Asian and Europe allies are some of the highlights of his tenure. By taking such drastic actions, he not only eroded the trust in US-Europe partnership, but also jolted the bedrock liberal values of the world order. Trump's clumsy response to COVID-19 pandemic is only a continuation of his perilous and transactional record. America's bungling response. Both the US government and the media took refuge in criticizing China's response to COVID-19, while the global health crisis kept knocking at America's door. Despite having been previously aware of possibility and gravity of a pandemic outbreak, President Trump handled the issue in his Trumpian manner. Denying outright that the pandemic could hit the nation badly, he kept repeating that we have it totally under control. US Secretary of Health and Human Services warned the president of disease morphing into a pandemic. As the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a public health emergency, Trump kept busy hosting a campaign rally in Iowa. Thousands of people attended the rally while Trump claimed again, "We have it very well under control." He gave false promises that the number of new coronavirus cases would go down and stated that a virus is like a miracle, it will disappear. Ever the populist, Trump ignored all the omens and hosted rallies in other states as well. Liberal institutions failed to deliver. Beset by Daniel and dysfunction, the US soon began to be engulfed in crisis. The most unfortunate moment came when the graveyards in New York had no space for the dead and mass graves had to dig up. A country whose institutions failed to curb calamity at home cannot deliver on the global front. As Henry Kissinger rightly observed, the US flourished and prospered because it developed institutions that can predict a calamity, avert its fallout, and fix what is broken. However, this is not the case now. Leaving the United Nations leaderless in the midst of a global health crisis and accusing WHO of bias towards China are some of the ominous signposts. Nonetheless, these will help map the future of the liberal world order. Is China taking the lead? Delivering medical facilities, coordinating with other nations, and calling for global cooperation has been China's response so far, laudable, yet not enough to make China a prominent global leader. Its economy has been China's trump card, but now, when the pandemic is making everything uncertain, it cannot lend much financial support to the West, at least not on the scale that it did during global financial crisis of 2008. Beijing is neither ready nor willing to shoulder global responsibilities. On the other hand, the US is rapidly undermining its role as a global leader by making mistake after mistake. This is the dilemma that has halted the machinery of the liberal world order. Under the guise of global cooperation, it was America that shouldered the responsibilities of a world order. Liberty, equality, and fraternity in the form of international cooperation was the image of that global superpower. Beijing has not been able to steal the American charm so far. The US stands as an emblem of human rights and liberties, while China does not. Washington offers the long-cherished vision of security and prosperity. Beijing is not even close to doing so. So what will be the future of world order? The US has become inefficient but not irrelevant. It will continue to stay relevant after the pandemic is over. The post-pandemic world order is not going to change dramatically. It will pick up from where it left off. The international institutions will be broken, but as Washington holds expertise and experience in its hands, and Beijing the finances and the will to cooperate, they will fix the broken world. With this scenario in the mind, there arises a question. Is the world heading towards bi-multipolarity? What do you think about it? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section below.